Welcome to the Getting to Know Your Contract mini-series. We're back. This is episode 17. We're talking about the paragraph relating to disclosures, paragraph 10. And I'm going to go over some really important aspects and some other aspects that are just kind of boilerplate. Okay, so boilerplate, radon. Yes, radon is a gas that exists here. Be aware. It's actually a lot more common in northern states, but we still have to disclose it. Same thing with mold. Be aware. We live in Florida. It's very humid. There's mold, right? So those are the standard disclosures. Lead paint, if the property was built before 1978, there is the potential that lead paint was on it. That's just the reality of life. Okay, let's talk about really important disclosures. Permits, first of all. If you are a seller and you have any knowledge of any improvements to the property or permits that were not closed or improvements that were done to the property that were not permitted, you need to disclose it. Then it's up to the buyer to accept it or to reject it, but your job as a seller is to disclose it. Flood issues, flood certification and elevation, okay? It is the buyer's job to find out what the elevation of the property is. Flood elevation certificate is going to be required if it comes back in a flood zone per the hazard insurance policy thing. Especially if you have a loan, that's going to prop up. But what you should be aware of is if it's below the standard for it to be able to be insured under flood coverage, the buyer has the ability to cancel the contract, and they can do it 20 days after the effective date. So they have 20 days. That's longer than the inspection periods often in order to terminate the contract, to get out of the contract because of the elevation of the property. So that's something that you need to know. And unless you write in a different number, it's going to be that 20 days. And finally, FIRPTA. I'm going to cover the other one of the disclosures in a separate video, the one that's kind of like, call it the subsequent one, because this is really essential, the other key. So FIRPTA, let's talk about FIRPTA. If you are a foreign national or if you are a entity that is owned by foreign citizens, okay, you are subject to FIRPTA withholdings. Your buyer is responsible for the FIRPTA withholding. The title company will do some FIRPTA withholdings. Just know that you have to cooperate and give the correct and accurate information if you are a foreign national, okay? Again, not a U.S. resident, not if you are a U.S. citizen. This is if you're a foreign national. Just know that there is a federal law called FIRPTA that must be complied with. There are additional tax withholdings that are kept when it is a foreign national. All right, so those are the disclosures that are going to be discussed in this video. In the next video, I'm going to talk about one called the seller disclosure. That's a biggie.